What's up, everybody? It's Gomlet X back again with another draft of Core Set 2019. So pick one, pack one here. It's a pretty easy demanding dragon. 5 mana, 5/5 flyer when it enters the battlefield. Deals 5 to an opponent or makes them sacrifice creature. It's their choice. But if this were literally just a 5 mana, 5/5 flyer with no other abilities, it would still be pretty good. And that is a relatively strong ability, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up Demanding Dragon for pick one, pack one. And we'll see where it goes from there. So Infernal Reckoning is pretty much a garbage rare. Blood Divination can be okay, but you really have to be the deck for it. You definitely want like Doom Dissenters and stuff. Switcheroo's interesting. I don't think it's the greatest. I think Vine Mare's pretty strong. Vine Mare's probably the strongest card here, because then everything else is a common. So there are like a couple good commons in here, but the good commons just aren't as strong as the decent uncommons. I think I'm just going to take the Vine Mare here. I do think it is the strongest card in that pack. Moving on, there's an Aeromancer's Cage is probably the strongest. It's just a 4 mana removal spell. It can remove any non-land permanent until they destroy Aeromancer's Cage in some way. There's also a Dragon Egg, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever played Dragon Egg, but I guess the idea is that you play Dragon Egg with some sacrifice outlets, so this is really for like red-black as your color scheme, because then you can use cards like Blood Divination that give you a way to sacrifice a creature. Skeleton Archer is a pretty good common. Don't think it's as good as Aeromancer's Cage. I do think Ghirapur Guide's pretty good. But again, probably not nearly as good as the Cage, so I'm just going to take the Aeromancer's Cage here. And we'll see what colors we're getting past and try to whittle it down to those colors being in our deck. This pack's just pretty bad. Titanic Growths is alright. Aviation Pioneer's alright, but I don't really want to take a blue card. I kind of want to try to stick to something that we have. Yeah, I mean, Titanic Growth is fine. Infernal Hellion is interesting. I don't think it's actually very good, but if you open a Sarkhan's Unsealing or like Thuds and stuff, it can be good. There are some cards that combo really well with it. By itself, it's not really like the greatest thing. I don't really know what I want to take here. I feel like I might just take the Inferno Hellion, because if I don't end up playing it, it's not like I missed out on all that much in this pack. This pack's pretty bland. I'll go ahead and take Inferno Hellion. Alright, well, this pack we have a Colossal Majesty goes really well with all 3 of our creatures, because all 3 of our creatures have 4 more power. So I kind of want to just take Colossal Majesty here, and now we're just trying to go into green-red. Everything else in here is alright. There's like nothing insane. Bristling Boar is another card that works really well with Colossal Majesty. It is one of the best green common creatures, in my opinion. 4 mana, 4/3, and they can't double block it, so you don't even have to worry about them blocking with like a 2/2 and a 1/1 in trading. They have to have something with 3 power on its own to trade with that. I am going to go ahead and take the Bristling Boar. Rock's Oracle is another card that works pretty well with Colossal Majesty. It only has 2 toughness, which is really not great, but I think we're definitely on the Colossal Majesty train here. Well, we could splash in a Satyr Enchanter and an Aeromancer's Cage. And, like, we could end up, like, dropping out red. Because the only thing we really have going for us with red is Demanding Dragon, which is a really strong card, but Satyr Enchanter can be really strong as well if you draft around it. And this is pretty late for a Satyr Enchanter, so I think that would mean that this kind of strategy is probably open. And we do already have 2 enchantments. We have Colossal Majesty and Aeromancer's Cage. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Satyr Enchanter here. Nothing great here. Daybreak Chaplain is a good creature to put auras onto, so it does go well with the Satyr Enchanter. So I guess I'll take that. Talons of Wildwood goes well with Satyr Enchanter, but Giant Spider is a pretty good card on its own. I'll take the Talons. Now we'll take Knight's Pledge. Another Knight's Pledge. Oaken Form. Alright, well, we might be green-white enchantments, because, like, Knight's Pledge is alright. I think Oaken Form is actually pretty strong. And the fact that we got an Oaken Form that late makes me really excited. This is an awkward card to open here. It's pretty much impossible that we end up playing this in our deck. But that would be so cool. 5-color Bolas. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. I don't think Bolas is happening. I think it's pretty likely we're going to be green-white auras here. I am still going to take the Bolas from my collection, though. That's really hard to pass up. Sorry, Bolas. Alright, so we have a Druid of the Cowl and a Centaur Courser for this pack. Those would both be fine in our deck. I think I'll pick up the Mana Dork. I don't have, like, the craziest mana base right now. I don't, like, really need ramp that much. But I feel like Centaur Courser usually goes later than the Druid, so we'll pick up the Druid for now. So, Pegasus Courser, Herald of Faith, both are pretty good. Herald of Faith is definitely better by itself. Courser is good when you're trying to get off to an earlier aggressive start. I think I will take the Herald of Faith, though. It is a strong card. It also has 4 power, which triggers our Colossal Majesty, which I think is where we want to be. Ooh, this pack's really nice. Militia Bugler can be a really strong card. Basically, if your ability hits, if you manage to get the second creature off of this card's just really good. If not, it's just okay. Greenwood Sentinel is pretty good because he's great to put little auras on, just because he's a cheap, vigilant creature. And Thorinhide Wolves is also a relevant card. That would be a decent pick just because it goes well with Colossal Majesty, and also 5 toughness is a lot. Like, Thorinhide Wolves is pretty beefy. I'm actually going to see... We do have 3 cards we can hit off of the Bugler, so, like, at worst, it's a little bit worse than Greenwood Sentinel, because it's 1 more mana for 1 more toughness, which isn't, like, that great. But we also just don't have a lot of 3-mana cards anyway, so I think it's fine to just pick up Militia Bugler, fill up that 3-drop spot a little bit here. Wow, another pack with a lot of relevant options. There's a Shield Mare, which obviously would be great if we get paired up against red. We just have an unblockable creature. And otherwise, it's just a 3-mana 2/3 that we gain 3 life when we play it, and if they ever have to target it with some kind of removal spell or something, we get to gain 3 more life. So I think it's a decent card. Angel of the Dawn's pretty nice. Just a 5-mana 3/3 flyer is an okay threat on its own. What makes the card pretty good is that it also gives you that advantage with the ability, when it enters the battlefield, all of your creatures get +1/+1 in vigilance till end of turn. Which we do have a decent amount of creatures at this point, so that could be a pretty big swing. And then, of course, there's another Oaken Form, which is obviously great. Because +3/+3 is pretty big, and we are trying to do a Satyr Enchanter-y thing here. I think I want to just take the Angel, because we can probably wheel one of these other cards. Even if we don't wheel the Shield Mare or the Oaken Form, we could at least get like a Titanic Growth or Centaur Courser. I don't think the Angel's going to wheel. And it would be nice to have just some more like flying stuff. So I'm going to pick up the Angel of the Dawn. This is a really easy Daybreak Chaplain. It's the only thing that would go into our deck. So now we're just like hoping to see another Satyr Enchanter that would make the deck pretty good. We also need to pick up some Luminous Bonds or Rabid Bites and stuff like that really highly. We need some removal in this deck. We only have Aeromancer's Cage, so we have 1 removal spell right now. Would be really nice to pick up more interaction. So here we just have a Cavalry, Drillmaster, or Pegasus Courser. I think Courser's probably better. We do have a lot of 3-mana cards at this point, though, which is a little bit awkward. Ooh, 6-mana 6/6 or 4-mana 2/2/2s. I think those are the best ones. We do have a Druid of the Cowl, so we are like semi-ramping right now. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick up the 6-mana 6/6. Like, Knight's Pledge, I don't think I'm gonna end up wanting to play like a million copies of Knight's Pledge unless I get a second Satyr Enchanter. I don't even know if I'm gonna want to play these Knight's Pledge in the first place, because I already have, like, 2 enchantments that I'm really happy to play by themselves. Like, even if Satyr Enchanter weren't in this deck, I would still be really happy to play Colossal's Majesty and Aeromancer's Cage, and pretty happy to play Oakenform. Whereas Knight's Pledge, I wouldn't be, like, just insanely excited about, but I am because of the Satyr Enchanter. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that Satyr Enchanter is best with enchantments that you were already going to run anyway, because they're just that powerful. Like Colossal Majesty, Aeromancer's Cage, Oakenform, those 3 are just great. So yeah, I'm not going to pick up the Knight's Pledge just because it says enchantment on it. We already have 2 of them, and I'm already not insanely keen on the 2. I think I'll take a Dwarven Priest here. Just gain some life, and it's got a really big toughness. Because we already have 3... We have 3 2-drop creatures, and we really want to be putting auras on the Daybreak Chaplain. I don't think Drillmaster is really the kind of creature that this deck wants. Because we want creatures that are going to be able to wield an aura well, and this guy just has pretty low toughness. Like, even if we give him +2/+2, he only has 3 toughness, so he still dies to, like, Lightning Strike and 3/1 creatures. So I'll take Dwarven Priest because it has a large toughness. And now we get to take some garbage. Revitalize is actually okay. I mean, you draw a card when you play it, so the only thing you're really losing out on is the mana. So if you ever are in a position where you just weren't going to use that mana anyway, it's like you just gain 3 life for free, since it replaces itself with another card. It's not bad. I'll take a Titanic Growth here. It's always nice to have 1 combat trick or 2. Thornhide Wolves Wield, so that's pretty nice. And Oakenform went real late, so that's nice as well. I might actually cut these Knight's Pledge now, because now I have double Oakenform plus Talons, and Aeromancer's Cage, and Colossal Majesty, and I only have 1 Satyr Enchanter. Alright, final pack. Novice Knight? Probably just taking Novice Knight, right? There's really only 2 cards to pick here. Like, we could pick a Drillmaster or a Mighty Leap, but they're whatever. I think it's probably just between Centaur Courser and Novice Knight, and Novice Knight is actually pretty exciting in this deck, and that would definitely be a reason to actually just put the Knight's Pledge back in. And then we just have, like, we have the potential of going turn 1 Novice Knight into turn 2 Knight's Pledge, which is obviously a pretty big play, because then you have a 4/5 attacking on turn 2. It's pretty nice. So, there's another Herald of Faith, a Runic Armasaur, Greenwood Sentinel, Gallant Cavalry, Thornhide Wolves. Really want to just pick up the second Herald of Faith here, I think. Card's just pretty strong. And there's a Luminous Bonds. It's going to be really hard to justify taking anything other than Luminous Bonds here. But Starcrowned Stag is a very good card, so that would be the pick if it weren't for Luminous Bonds, but I think I am just taking Luminous Bonds. I did say before, I'm going to have to take those really highly, just because I need removal, and it's basically the perfect removal spell for this deck, because not only is it removal, it also can trigger a Satyr Enchanter if we are lucky. So now there's Blanchwood Armor, which isn't particularly insane in this deck, unfortunately. It's obviously incredible in mono green, and that's really where you want to be for it. We are actually pretty heavily white here. We might even have more white cards than green cards. I have not counted. So yeah, unfortunately, Blanchwood Armor not going to be insane. Vigilant Baloth is really strong, 5 mana 5/5 Vigilance, but we have a pretty cluttered high mana cost area right now. Like, we have a lot of cards at high mana costs. We don't really want to pick up more of those. I can cut a couple cards now, so what would I be taking out of here at this point? Maybe a Titanic Growth? Oops. Maybe we're cutting like a Dwarven Priest. We're cutting Thornhide Wolf's Rock's Oracle. We could maybe fit a Vigilant Baloth into here if we cut those cards like that. But Starcrown Stag is also pretty powerful. I think I want to just take the Starcrown Stag. Pegasus Courser accomplishes the same kind of thing as the Starcrown Stag, where it helps your creatures get through. But Starcrown Stag is bigger, so I'll just take the Stag. Another Colossal Majesty, or another Knight's Pledge, or a Centaur Courser or Root Snare. I think I'll take another Colossal Majesty. We are really just trying to go off with this deck. Could get a third copy of Knight's Pledge, or we could get a Greenwood Sentinel. How many creatures do I have that trigger Colossal Majesty on their own now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 creatures that trigger Colossal Majesty on their own. Might want to cut some of the lower drops and just put back in Rock's Oracle and Thornhide Wolves now that we have 2 copies of Colossal Majesty. This is going to be a really hard deck to build, because we have a lot of options. Greenwood Sentinel, Knight's Pledge. How many early creatures do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a Militia Bugler. Yeah. This is a hard pick. Because Greenwood Sentinel goes really well because it gives us a good creature to enchant with Knight's Pledge or Oakenform. And it is another creature that we could potentially hit off of the Militia Bugler. But Knight's Pledge gives us 3 copies of Knight's Pledge for our Novice Knight, so then we're like really likely to always be tossing one on to a Novice Knight or a Daybreak Chaplain, which is a pretty big game. I think I'm going to take the Greenwood Sentinel here. We're not playing any of these cards. I could play a second Druid of the Cowl, perhaps. Could also play a second Rock's Oracle with Colossal Majesty and just really go on the Colossal Majesty plan. And I could also play Giant Spider. All 3 of these are pretty good picks. So what happens if I just go all in on Colossal Majesty instead of like the Super Auras plan? I'm just all in on Colossal Majesty. So then we like still have a few enchantments to hit off of the Satyr Enchanter. I feel like the other deck definitely has more potential for explosive plays, but this one will more consistently in the late game be in a position to just really get there. Yeah, I think I like this version. Double Druid of the Cowl here to hit these large creatures. And now, since we have double Colossal Majesty with a whole bunch of 4-power creatures, we just want to do our best to survive into the late game, and then we just take over the game with large creatures plus card advantage through Colossal Majesty. I think I like this build. But I still have to cut more cards, so... So who knows? Throwing a Centaur Courser, throwing another Thornhide Wolves? This is maybe getting to be like way too many large drops. I mean, Thornhide Wolves is good by itself. Pick up a Naturalize, that could be playable. Another Knight's Pledge. I mean, we've got the Knight's Pledge if we want to go for the early game plan. Alright, yeah, I don't know what version of the deck is actually better. Like, if we should be playing all the Knight's Pledge and the Novice Knight, or if we should just be playing the larger creatures here. We could throw in the Rupture Spire and try to cast Nicol Bolas. I think I'm going to roll with, like, this kind of build more. So let's cut some cards here. Still have to cut 3 more cards. Do I even actually just cut the Oaken Forms at this point? And then Satyr Enchanter is just there for Cage, Majesties, and Luminous Bonds. I think I'd rather cut a Talons before I cut an Oaken Form. So we could do like that. Just do that, I guess. Then we're just cutting all the auras, which was kind of the game plan initially, but I like this deck. The game plan has just completely become a Colossal Majesty deck instead. But I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the deck like this. I don't know how agreeable that is. Actually, maybe I'm not even playing Daybreak Chaplains at this point. I feel like I have to have some auras to make Daybreak Chaplains like really good. They're still okay at stopping early aggressive decks. Yeah, I'm keeping it like this. I'm gonna stop second guessing and we're gonna hop into a game. Daybreak Chaplain's probably still fine. The red-white aggro decks in this format are really fast, so should be nice to have just like a 1/3 blocker with lifelink. Still, we definitely still want early game creatures. We can't completely rely on the late game stuff. We have to have ways to survive until we can get like Colossal Majesty and a big guy out. Alright, I'll keep this. We have a Centaur Courser, so that we have an actual play of our own early on in the game, and then we have an Aeromancer's Cage if they do anything super scary. And we have Colossal Majesty plus Rocks Oracle if we get to a high enough mana costs here. Rustwing Falcon into Child of Night. Luckily 1/3s are really nice at blocking 2/1s. I'm going to play the Bugler here and see if we can hit like a Satyr Enchanter. That would be awesome. Ooh. We miss. But that's okay. We aren't playing an insane amount of 2 or less power creatures, I think. Like, at that point, we had 1 more Daybreak Chaplain, 2 Druid of the Cowl, and 1 Satyr Enchanter, and, like, a Pegasus Courser. So I think we had 5 left in the deck, so not a massively large amount. Why not? They're just going to block with Neonate, but there's no reason not to. If they want to throw, like, a Pump Spell or a minus whatever spell at this guy, that would be fine with me. Looks like a no. This Rustwing Falcon's gonna get there eventually. Well, Rustwing Falcon plus Vampire Neonate is actually a little bit of a clock. I don't think I'm ready to Aeromancer's Cage anything yet, though, so we'll just drop the Majesty down, because we're not doing anything else this turn, so we might as well spend the mana that way. If they attack with the 2-headed zombie, I can double block with Bugler and Chaplain, and that's fine. So we'll attack like this, and if they want to offer... If they want to take the trade with either of these, that's cool with me. And if not, we get a little bit of damage in, which we did. So instant speed removal, well, any kind of removal would be bad here, but instant speed removal would be especially bad, because there's no way I'm not going to double block the two-headed zombie if it attacks. Since it has menace, that's the only way I'm going to kill it. Interesting. They're going to attack with Child of Night as well. Makes me really think they have some kind of instant speed removal. I think... What do they have, like abnormal endurance or something? I don't think that this block can go insanely bad for me, so I'm just going to do it. I think they're just killing one of these creatures, even if they have abnormal endurance. Yeah. So they do have the abnormal endurance, yeah, because that way, with this block, they can only kill one of my creatures if they have abnormal endurance or murder. One of my creatures dies. If it's either of those cards. And if I double block two-headed zombie, whichever one of those cards it is, both my creatures die. So I think that block went pretty well for me. However, Nightmare's Thirst is a pretty sick follow-up to gaining that much life off the lifelink. They have one card in their hand, so I'm taking one here. I'm going to 12. If I drop down a Rock's Oracle, I can double block two-headed zombie. They get to kill one of my guys. They probably just like kill Rock's Oracle. I'm taking one, go to 12, take one, go to 11, block there, take 4, go to 7. I might have to just Aeromancer's Cage that two-headed zombie, but I don't think I have to yet, so I'm gonna Rock's Oracle for now. See if I can start drawing a bunch of cards. I may even have to Aeromancer's Cage the Neonate, depending on what I draw next turn. Oh, God. Good lord. I can no longer just double block the two-headed zombie because they get to kill both my creatures because of that. Can't even block the Child of Night without losing a creature. If I block and kill Child of Night with Bugler, I take 7, go to 5. Next turn they attack, and I can block with an Angel of the Dawn, and then I think I'm just dead. That Angel of the Dawn was really good for our opponent. Yeah, I think that does it. I had to just, like, draw something really sweet there. Yep, I mean, either play here leaves me dead. I could Aeromancer's Cage the zombie, but then I take 4 in the air, plus 1 from Neonate, or I could play Angel of Dawn, in which case I could block their Angel of Dawn, but then I take 4 from two-headed zombie and 1 from Neonate, so that is game. Kinda just completely forgot Angel of the Dawn existed there, and probably should have just killed the two-headed zombie with the Luminous Bonds the moment I had the chance. But I think other than that, I think I played fine in that game. The double block was pretty good. Played around the endurance well. They just had a pretty nice setup there, with the ability to use endurance as a removal spell, plus Nightmare's Thirst as a removal spell, clear out my little dudes. Alright. This hand is very good, so I am excited. Opponent starts with a Fountain of Renewal, which could be a major problem. If they go a Johnny's Pridemate next turn, that's going to be terrible, because it's going to start as a 2-2, and then their next turn is going to be a 3-3. It's going to get real big real fast, and I would have to just, like, Aeromancer's Cage that thing, like, immediately. So if I play Satyr Enchanter, I'm basically just saying I want to Aeromancer's Cage something next turn, which I don't know if I will, so I'm just going to play Militia Bugler. And we miss again. That one was a lot more likely to miss, though, because we'd drawn 3 more of the 1 and 2 drops. Oh, well, I mean, I guess we're just doing an aggressive curve. Let's see what they got. So far, it's just Fountain of Renewal. Starcrown Stag is here. So whatever they play this turn, we get to just tap down. They sack the Fountain to draw a card, so they're probably reaching for a second color, maybe? Maybe they have... Oh, Leanin' War Leader's pretty nice. I do miss out on the value of drawing the card if I just cage it, but I think I have to just cage it and get aggressive here. Because, like, the other way, they're gonna make the lifelink creatures. If I don't just cage it immediately, I do get to tap it down, and then they just have to attack with it next turn. So I would block with Sentinel and Bugler. I would lose my Sentinel, and they'd have two lifelinking 1/1s hitting me, so they would gain some life as well. So I just think that it's better to try to kill them as fast as possible here before they can recover from the stumble that they've had with just poor draws, I believe, I assume. But they could have, like, the 5-mana Wrath here. That would be bad. Cleansing Nova, I think it is. Nope, just a handful of stuff they couldn't cast earlier. Alright. So I attack with everybody. Who do I tap down? So they have a 2/2, a 2/1, and a 1/2. And I just tap down one of those things. I guess I just tap down the 2/1. I'm just going to draw a card off the Satyr Enchanter while I still can. A 1/3 isn't going to be that insane on this board, and I could just draw into a land and be able to play one anyway. Alright, if they want to trade with one of my 2/2s, they have to lose their fancy little spirit guy instead. Alright, they go to 1, and we'll play a Daybreak Chaplain. The only card in my deck I can't cast without a Druid of the Cowl right now is Colossal Colossal Dreadmaw? Colossal Dreadmaw. I have one Colossal Dreadmaw. So I don't think I need the Druid out, so might as well put the Lifelinker out. Alright, 1 win and 1 loss. We're exactly even. See if we can keep it up. I would be happy with a 3/3, that's fine with me. That's average. Obviously want to win as much as possible to get as many gems as possible for War of the Spark. But it's not like I really need to win. Usually I'm like really trying super hard in these drafts to win as much as possible because I really want to like play another draft immediately. But I've played every format on Arena, every draft format on Arena enough now that I'm satisfied. I don't really need to draft these formats that much more. I will be try-harding the shit out of War of the Spark though, because it'll be brand new. Gotta get as much value as possible. Well, let's see. This will be our 3rd Militia Bugler in 3 games. We'll see if this one will hit anything. Oh, they don't have the Divination style on? The Divination style is completely free. It is one of the starter styles. So you literally just input the code starter styles into Arena. So we saw some really good cards off of the Militia Bugler, which is unfortunate. I think it was Colossal Majesty, a Thornhide Wolf, and a Colossal Majesty, Thornhide Wolf, and the Flying Angel thing. The Herald or whatever. So those were all cards that I would have loved to draw. I guess Colossal Majesty would have been pretty bad right now, because I don't have any creatures with 4 power, but the rest of them would have been sweet. Alright, we're just gonna play everybody out. We don't have anything else to do. Let's try and get as much damage onto this board as possible. Opponent's at 6 mana now, so they could definitely do a lot of stuff here. Looks like they're just gonna kill the 3/3. A reassembling Skelly Man. Well, now I want to just not draw lands, basically. Our best draw would obviously be Luminous Bonds or the 4 mana one that exiles one of their cards. I forget what it's called. I just drafted it today and I forgot what the 4 mana removal spell is called. Well, there's Luminous Bonds, but now they have a 3/3 and a 5/5. So it doesn't even matter that much. But we get to draw a card, so I think I have to just do this. Sick. Alright. So I Luminous Bonds the Guardian because I have a lot more creatures that could possibly get through a 3/3 flyer than could get through a 5/5. If they want to start hitting me with the flyer, that's cool with me. They probably have another removal spell in their hand. That's really what the blue-black decks are all about in this format. You just have a lot of good removal and counter spells and stuff. Frilled Sea Serpent. Well, that's a 4/6, so it blocks my wolves well, so I think I'm about to start getting hit for 3 a turn. And I might just slowly die. Frilled Sea Serpent can, like, hit me for a lot, but then they don't have great blocks for the Thornhide Wolves anymore, and I have, like, a bunch of creatures. So I think that they're probably just going to start hitting me with the flyer. Salvager of Secrets brings back their Divination. Yeah, we're just getting destroyed card advantage-wise, or card value-wise, or whatever. But we have a Satyr Enchanter and a Colossal Majesty now, so let's see if we can take the card advantage right back. What happens if both players draw a bunch of cards? Aeromancer's Cage? Wow. Well, let's see if they have a counterspell. Even if they do have a counterspell, I get to draw the card at least. Nice! Alright, if they have a way to bounce the Aeromancer's Cage, that would be hilariously bad as well, because then they could, get the Enter the Battlefield effect out of their Symbiont again, and draw another card. But if they don't, now I'm just in a really good spot. Those were some good draws. But that was just thanks to the fact that Colossal Majesty plus Satyr Enchanter just let me keep drawing so many cards I could just draw into my good stuff. Dwindle on my Thornhide Wolves. So now we're just going to be hitting with Pegasus Courser and Militia Bugler, I think. They're sending in Scholar of Stars. I'm confused. Don't really know what I should do here. I'm just gonna double Daybreak Chaplain and see what happens. Okay. Trade the 3/2 for the 1/3 lifelink. Alright, so the Dwindle on the Thornhide Wolves works out pretty well for my opponents. I'm just gonna get as many damage, or as much damage in as possible here, get 3 in. I could send in the Chaplain as well to gain 1 life here if I'm like really scared about dying to the Frilled Sea Serpent, but I think I outrace them currently. Aviation Pioneer gives them 1 block. So they have to hit me 5 times with the Sea Serpent? I'm still winning the race. So I need to get hit 4 more times, they need to get hit 2 more times after this. Wow, no blocks is interesting. I guess they're saving the chump block for the last possible moment. I was really expecting them to just chump block the bugler right away there. Wow, they only have 11 cards left in their deck. They have drawn a lot of cards. That's impressive. Like, you guys have seen how many cards I've drawn, and I have 16 cards left in my deck still. Dwindle on Militia Bugler. Alright, they have to kill me or my Pegasus Courser next turn. Alright, moment of truth. Do they kill Pegasus Courser or me? That was a very close game, very insane game. They got to cast many divinations and draw many cards. But luckily for me, we drew our enchantment-based removal, which let us draw even more cards. So we answered card draw with card draw. So I believe we are 2-1? We might be 2-2. I don't... My brain's bad. This is why I could never be a professional, like, competitive Magic player, because my brain just does not work well. I am not the smartest. I've already forgotten what my record is and everything. This hand's really bad. I have 1 2-mana card, and then everything's like 4 and 5 mana, and I have double green. I don't even have the mana to play the 2-mana card, so we're gonna mull hands. Better, but not great. I only need that land if I like really want to cast Angel of the Dawn, and I don't really want to cast Angel of the Dawn unless I draw other stuff and play other stuff first. Just by itself, it's just not that groovy. Bugler's pretty sweet. Looks like we're playing against another person with something artifact-based, or maybe they just want a 1-mana 1/2. More power to them. I'm actually just gonna get in with my biggest dudes here. Aviation Pioneer. They have... Prodigy is a 2/2 now, which means if I attack, they just get to trade my 3/3 for literally just their 2/2, which is pretty poopy. Let's go to Militia Bugler. Daybreak Chaplain. Oh, thank goodness. And we sifted through a gigantic stack of lands there. So, that's 3 lands to the bottom. Makes us more likely to be able to draw into some non-land good stuff at this point, which is nice. There's for 1. So I could Majesty and Chaplain, or I could just Angel of Dawn. How good even is Angel of Dawn right now? Centaur Courser becomes a 4/4, which means, yeah, they don't really have good blocks for it if it's a 4/4. Militia Bugler is a 3/4. They do still have good blocks for. They could block with Scholar of Stars and Gearsmith Prodigy. I guess in that point I'd just kill Scholar. Yeah, I think we can just swing in this turn. It seems fine. Just gonna take it all, go to 13. Gearsmith Guardian. We've got a 5/5 to block stuff now. This is a pretty easy block. Bugler's not getting in through a 5/5 anyway. And there's another land. Drop down the Chaplain, drop down Colossal Majesty. I think we gotta just pass. We don't really have blocks for the Gearsmith Guardian if I attack with Angel of the Dawn, and I think that we need blocks for Gearsmith Guardian. Problem is we just like die to Titanic Growth. We're dead to a lot of things here. We have 18 life, so I don't mean like literally we'll die this turn, I just mean in terms of them just like demolishing our field. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. Whenever it's dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Jesus. There's some pretty bad draws right now. We're drawing mana and mana. Wow. Yeah, I think I have to just like pass and die. Like, I guess now I can just like triple block Gearsmith Guardian. So we can just attack with Angel of the Dawn. Yeah, Gearsmith Guardian only gets to kill one of my creatures if I triple block with all my 3 toughness guys. That seems better than double blocking with my 3/3s. Main deck Plummet. Okay. Wish I were playing mono green today. Every time I get destroyed by a sideboard card in the main deck. That's always my immediate thought. Why weren't I drafting mono green today? Because then I made them discard a card for free. Nice. Yeah, I mean... Show me the Titanic Growth! Ooh, they don't even have the Titanic Growth. We just got to eat that Guardian. It's pretty nice. We're not in that insanely awful of a spot if we draw removal for Hungering Hydra. And Rock's Oracle's about, like, our best draw right now. Because it triggers Colossal Majesty. Fortunately, we don't have the mana for the Bristling Boar. But yeah, like, the literal best draw we could possibly have would be Rock's Oracle into Luminous Bonds. That would have been an incredible set of draws there. Bristling Boar. Oh, I'm surprised they are not just going in to make sure that I have to block with the Rock's Oracle. Because now I just get to start drawing cards and hopefully just get them via card advantage. I can't really attack. Magistrate's Scepter. So they get an extra turn once every 3 turns. Well, this has turned into a long game. The Rock's Oracle was a really nice draw. Now this game is going to take a while, no matter what here. take a really long time if I just draw lands. To be more accurate, it's going to take a really long time if we both just draw lands. If my opponent just draws, like, I don't know, Blanchwood Armor to throw on the Hungering Hydra or something weird, then I am just dead. Another Gearsmith Prodigy. Get hit for 1 in the air. And they're sending in the boar as well. The boar can only be blocked by 1 creature, so I do have to trade one of my big guys for it. But I can't afford to let more than the 1 damage in. So we'll trade the Rock's Oracle out. See if they have removal for Bristling Boar. They do not, so we still get to draw cards with Colossal Majesty. Can be blocked by black creatures, right? Yeah. That would have been really good if it couldn't be blocked by blue creatures, but... because then it just trades for Hungering Hydra, or they take damage. Alright, well... wow, Auto Tapper is awful. Actually the worst. Oh, every time I forget to do manual tapping, because it tapped double green for Thornhide Wolves for 0 reason. So now we have to tap down one of our druids for absolutely no reason. So that's cool. If I attack with Bristling Boar, they can just block with the wall, and if I attack with any of my 1/1s, they can just block with the Hydra. Or any of my 1-power creatures. We have to draw, like, one of our flyers. We have 2 Herald of Faith. Those would be great draws. I think those are our only flyers left. No, we have Pegasus Courser as well. Pegasus Courser would be sweet. Obviously, Luminous Bonds would be awesome on the Hungering Hydra. I think those are it. Those are the good draws right now. Vinemare's fine, because it at least kills a little bit of their stuff. Ooh, there's the Luminous Bonds. Yeah, that's just sweet. So worst case scenario, Vinemare trades for Gearsmith Prodigy and Aviation Pioneer, and then I've cleared the board a bit. Thornhide Wolves, they'd have to block with 5 power. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'd have to block with like all that. Then I get to kill 2 Gearsmith Prodigies. So I can attack like this, and then they're going to take 2 turns in a row. So I need to make sure that I have good blocks. And I think just having 1/3s is the best blocks I can have. I'm conceding that I will be taking 2 from the flyer if they want to do that. So yeah, we're going to attack with those. I think those are our best attacks. Their best block here is to, yeah, block with Prodigy and Pioneer. And then they just block Thornhide Wolves with the 4/5. But I did attack with both, just in case they wanted to block Vinemare with just, like, the wall. Just to stop damage. But yeah, Thornhide Wolves was a safe attack. There was no like, great block they could make on the Thornhide Wolves. I probably should have sent in the boar as well. But I was getting a little bit worried about sending in too many creatures. But at the same time, I've got 4 1/3 blockers. I should have just sent in the boar. Because then one of these would have been able to make them chump block with something or get a little bit of damage in. Instead of just accomplishing nothing like it did. Just sitting here, being a good Pumbaa. Alright, so here's their extra turn. And they get a bigger flyer. That's bad. So we need one of our flyers or our other removal spell. So we've got 3 cards here that would get us out of this. 3 cards of our 17. We're drawing 2 cards per turn. We need one real fast. Oh yeah, we have Pegasus Courser still. And that chump blocks once. At worst. We also can gain some life off the Daybreak Chaplains if we have to. If we have to send them in. The only thing they could block with to kill a Daybreak Chaplain would be Snapping Drake. So, if they attack with Snapping Drake next turn, we can start sending in the Chaplains. So yeah, something has to chump block or they're taking 4 if I attack like this. I think I'm safe at 9 life here to take 4 damage. I don't think I have to sacrifice a Daybreak Chaplain just to gain 1 life. And it could be just sacrificing 2 of them, because they could double block one of them with their 2/2s. So yeah, Daybreak Chaplain actually is not that safe to attack with. Okay. I'm fine with that. They got rid of their 1 flyer that could actually kill my Pegasus Courser, so now I'm free to start attacking with Courser plus Thornhide Wolves in the air. I'm really fine with that. Hopefully that doesn't mean that they just have another flyer in their hand, but it might mean that. Or a removal spell. Switcheroo. They're gonna borrow my 4/5. That's probably fine. I can just chump block that once a turn. Yeah, weird. A lot of weird choices for my opponent. But I think that one, that's probably fine. Most of the weird choices I'm talking about are just like deck choices. I don't see Gearsmith Prodigy or Magistrate Scepter or Wall of Mist super often in main deck Plummet. But if I were my opponent, I might have just taken the Pegasus Courser. Because you could just block the 4/5 with Wall of Mist every turn if I didn't have Pegasus Courser. I could get 1 more damage in with Greenwood Sentinel, or I could gain a life and be a little bit safer with Daybreak Chaplain, so I think I want to do that. I do have Herald of Faith attacking next turn to gain life anyway, though, so I probably should have just hit them for 1 more. Yeah, I think I'd actually just be in an awful position if they switcherooed my Pegasus Courser to their side, because then I would be at 9 life. They would attack with the 1/1 flyer, the Pegasus Courser, and the Greenwood Sentinel. I'd be taking 4 per turn in the air. Oh, I guess they just have a Skyrider Patrol instead. That explains the Thornhide Wolves steal. Because now they just pump up the Thornhide Wolves and give it flying till end of turn. Hit me for 5. Alright, they hit me for just 5. We're gonna not block. So they have 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9 in the air next turn. So I need to make sure that I have flying blockers, or that I'm at 9 life, and I can't make sure that I'm at 9 life. I think I have to chump block with Pegasus Courser. If they block Herald, if they want to kill Herald of Faith, they have to kill their Skyrider Patrol and their 1/1 flyer. So I think I just attack with Herald of Faith right now. It puts me at 7. If they don't block at all, I can chump block Thornhide Wolves with Pegasus Courser and take 3 from the other stuff. Yeah, I think that's my best attack. They take it, go to 4. If I attacked with everyone that turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Ghost form. That'll do it. Taking 7. With the unblockability. Well, that's probably the weirdest deck I've lost to in a while. Yeah, I could not have killed them by attacking with everybody last turn, but I could this turn. Because they have 6 blockers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. So 2 of them for sure get through. I guess they wouldn't be dead to an attack that turn either. Alright. That didn't feel great. But we got really close. That Skyrider Patrol really just demolished my my hopes and dreams for that game. That was pretty nice. Alright. This is another awful hand. We have a Druid of the Cowl on turn 2, but then we don't have anything else. If we get the plains, this hand is pretty good. We do have like 9 plains in here, I think. Oh boy. I'm gonna mulligan. This is terrible as well. I'll keep this though. Mulliganing to 5 is almost always a death sentence. Oh god. This hand's a death sentence too, though. Probably should have just kept the 7 and just hoped for a plains. That was the best I could hope for. That's not true. A decent 6-card hand is the best I could have hoped for. We just didn't get that. Oh, well, we have plays. We've got 4 mana now. We just need 1 land. I guess we don't have plays. We will have plays if we draw 1 more land. Or something that costs less than 5. However, my opponent is off to a good start. Actually, just a really good start. Because they have the Johnny's Pridemate plus Vampire Neonate combo, where Johnny's Pridemate's just going to get bigger every single turn. So if I'm going to stay in this game... With the pressure they've put on the board, the only thing I really need is to find a way to get rid of the Pridemate. Not good. But I need to find a way to get rid of it pretty fast here. I can't really afford to lose either of these creatures. Because I need the Druid of the Cowl to be able to tap for mana, and then I need the Daybreak Chaplain to be able to block things while the Druid of the Cowl is tapped. Well, Militia Bugler could hopefully get us somewhere. Or not. Militia Bugler could put our Aeromancer's Cage on the bottom of our library and just cement the loss here. Put one of our 2 removal spells on the bottom of our deck. We'll block at this point. Because if we don't block, then we're taking 6 total. So we would have been at 5 if we didn't block there. feel like the Pride Mate is just too big at this point. So I'm going to play the Herald of Faith because the only way I'm getting out of this game is if I draw my 1 Luminous Bonds. So I want to just Luminous Bonds Pride Mate, then I can block their ground guys with my 1/3. Would like to be able to attack with this Herald of Faith to gain some life. And try to get back into this after Luminous Bondsing Pride Mate, if that happens. Game's just completely over. Because this Pride Mate's essentially an 8/8 next turn. Because they buff it to 7/7 at the end of my turn, and then at any time it would have to be, they can make it an 8/8 during their turn. I suppose if that's the case, my best play was probably to just play Angel of the Dawn. Yeah, probably should have played Angel of the Dawn, because then I could have attacked with the Herald of Faith and then had exactly 8 power up to try to block Pride Mate and just see if it would work. I doubt it at this point, but yeah, see, they just have Luminous Bonds anyway. So even if I just, like, decided not to attack and played a Herald of Faith to double block with 2 Herald of Faiths, then I just got demolished. Regardless, they forgot to use their Vampire Neonate at the end of my turn, but didn't matter. It's like, I take a 9. I can't take 9. I can't take 9, because if I take 9, then I die the second they choose to use Neonate's ability again. So we have to just do the chump block. Could attack with the Herald of Faith and go to 8 life. If I'm at 8 life... Oh god. If I'm at 8 life, I can chump block Pride Mate and take 6 damage total. Because we take 4 there, and then we take from Neonate. I'd probably just play Angel of Dawn to have as many creatures blocking as possible, so that I don't just die to a second Luminous Bonds or something. I don't know why I'm still playing. Probably still playing because this is my very last game. If I lose this, I'm just out of it entirely. I don't get to play anymore. So might as well play as much as possible. Even if it is a ridiculously snowballing game. It's like me with an ice cube versus him with, like, a snowball that has accumulated over a mountain at this point. I couldn't even tell if I could technically survive there. I don't think I could, because they get another Neonate trigger, so I would have went down to 4. I'd have 2 blockers and be at 4 life. Yeah, I could not survive that turn. Alright, well, 2 wins, 3 losses. Not a happy record for me. I like 3-3 and better, but you gotta get those 2 3s in there to even out the 7-win runs. Ooh! Tezzeret, Artifice Master. That's pretty cool. I actually wanted one of him. Not one of them. I wanted to try out using a playset of him in Treasure Constructed, just because the draw ability is always going to let you draw 3. And also just a deck with a bunch of Karns and Tezzeret seems fun. Because then you could just like make a bunch of Thopter tokens with Tezzeret, and then make the Construct tokens with Karn, and they help each other out. See, Tezzeret's a cool card. That was a nice pity pack there, so I'll take it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll definitely see you all tomorrow, which is the first day of War of the Sparks spoilers, so expect definitely a War of the Sparks spoilers video. I think I will be downloading the editing software I used to make spoiler videos last season. I have done a system reboot on my computer since then, so all my files are deleted. So I'm probably going to re-download and try to relearn the editing program in my free time tonight and tomorrow morning before the spoilers. So that when they hit, I can make sure that I have a decently edited video of my thoughts and reactions to the spoilers tomorrow. So that'll definitely be the video for tomorrow, and I'll definitely see you then. Definitely. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Magic the Gathering related content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.